And just like that, the boys are back with a special guest. It's Views from Section 400. Matt, Jack, Brian, and Colin are writing blogger. You see him over on viewsfromsection400.com. So we got him on. There's a big basketball game over the weekend we'll get into in just a sec. USA Hockey, out of nowhere, is back. Canada can go. I don't know. We'll wait till we get into that, but I love how they claim hockey, which rightfully so, but it's always nice to beat them at their own sport, right? We'll get into some MLB talk, NBA All-Star Weekend disaster, and the mic of the week. You thought it was gone. It's not. It's staying right here on the Sunday show.
It's never leaving.
It's never leaving. As much as Jack wants it gone, it's not going anywhere. But we'll get all cooking off right here in just 30 seconds. We'll get a quick word from SeatGeek.
The calendar is flipped to 2025, and that means one thing. The sports action is heating up, and the best place to go to get tickets to playoff football, meaningful basketball games, and maybe some baseball soon is SeatGeek. SeatGeek is the official sponsor of the Views from Section 400 podcast. Whether you're going to watch some Auburn Tigers play at Neville Arena, best team in college basketball, if you want to see the Birds probably choke in the playoffs at the Link, or maybe you want to buy some early spring training tickets for the spring, SeatGeek is the best place to go. Their one-of-a-kind platform makes finding the best deals easy. Use our code VIEWSFROM400 at checkout for $20 off your first purchase. Again, that's code VIEWSFROM400 at checkout. You get $20 off your first purchase. That's a free beer and maybe some crab fries, maybe a hot dog on us. It's a great deal. Use our code. SeatGeek, your best night ever is waiting.
So the big basketball game over the weekend, it wasn't a football game. You think it would be for the SEC. But number one, Auburn took down number two, Alabama. You wonder, okay, Colin is on right now. He goes to Alabama. Brian and Jack, we don't have to remind you the team they support, the school they support. But, yeah, I feel like, I'll set this one up and just let you guys kind of go back and forth because I have no rooting interest. This is all you guys.
Yeah, I'd like to point out before we get started here that I didn't bring Colin on to just yell at him and haze him here. Haze the new guy. I did ask him before the game, so I didn't know Auburn would win, but they did. And Nate Oates and the Alabama Crimson Tide never led that game. First time that's ever happened at Coleman Coliseum. The Auburn Tigers, you just said the Eagles put the belt to ass to the Chiefs. The Auburn Tigers just put belt to ass to the Crimson Tide.
They absolutely did, and there was a comeback factor in that game. Auburn almost let them come back. But you're right. Auburn, total domination, and looked like the team that they looked. But other than that, those little slip-ups, but they're back on track.
Yeah, Bama was close to getting a lead until Tahaad Pettiford came in and hit the biggest shot of the game. In transition, he's like 1-on-4. I'm like, dude, what are you doing? Slow it down. He did. Popped a three, drained it. I mean, that's a true freshman showing up on the biggest stage in a 1-versus-2 game. Away in Coleman Coliseum, everybody from Bruce Pearl to the announcers, they were saying that they haven't heard of that place like that in, their entire existence here. One guy said 16 years. Bruce Pearl said his entire career, however long that is by now. It's awesome how this guy, true freshman Tahaad Pettiford, can just step up in this big situation, hit the biggest shot of his career.
And I know you liked it a little extra because he's a Jersey kid.
Shout out Jersey. Jersey strong, baby.
I mean, that's the Nate Oates system. Live and die by the three, and they died pretty bad. Just died.
Yeah, Denver Jones just put Mark Sears in a torture chamber all game long.
Yeah, I mean,
really, I thought Sears, or you got it, Colin.
Oh, sorry. They just come off every ball screen, and I mean that's basically every team's going to start doing that now. So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, every team doesn't have Denver Jones, though, so that you at least have that going for you. And, Matt, yeah, Sears did have those two big threes.
Yeah, I thought he was going off.
He made 4 of 17 shots, and 2 of those were the big threes, and Denver Jones was on the bench. The one time Denver went to the bench.
I know. Yes. I remember you were calling for him to get back out on the court. And it's funny because it really shows, when he was off the court, Alabama made that surge back. But, yeah, Auburn got it done on the road, I think. They're back to being the best team. They had the scare, you could call it, over the last week and a half, 2 weeks, some concerns. But as far as I'm concerned, they're back on track as the number one. I call the spade a spade. That's my new favorite saying because it's what it is. It's they're the best team in college basketball
Yeah, there's no
as
doubt.
of right now.
There's no doubt.
Things can change,
You look
but
at the
they are right now.
resume. You look at the resume. You look at what happened last night, or I guess Saturday. But it's crazy if anybody wants to argue that Auburn shouldn't be number one. I mean, I feel like all season they've been trying to find reasons why Auburn isn't one. From Tennessee to Alabama should have been number one this week. I think the coaches and AP poll had it switched up like flip flop going into this
Oh,
one.
yep. The coaches poll had Alabama at number one, and
Yeah,
we
you
got
were
comments
saying,
on Auburn Wire about
yeah.
saying Alabama was number one.
I heard, man, and it's just ridiculous why people still come in here and think that they can just say Auburn shouldn't be the number one overall team. It's incredible what we've been able to do.
Well, if you look at that resume, Auburn has 14 quad one wins now. The next highest is 8. Kentucky, Tennessee, and Alabama are all tied. Out of all the teams with at least 7, including Auburn, that's 10 of them. Only Alabama and Auburn have less than 5 losses in quad one. Alabama is 3. Auburn is 2. And they have 14 wins to Alabama's 8. That's absurd. There's a reason the selection committee said this was the easiest number one overall seed they've ever picked when they came out with that early bracket.
Yeah, I mean, look, they just threw them at Alabama up there because Duke lost and Auburn lost. So they're playing they lost during the week. So naturally you have to move it over. But I told this to you, Brian. I was like, anybody who have a brain knows with Auburn's resume, watching the basketball team, regardless of them dropping a game in a 30 plus game season that you end up playing, still a better team.
I want to talk more about these individual performances and just how any guy can beat you at any time. But first, I want to get, because we've been talking about Auburn, Colin, I want to get your sense. Like, I don't think this is panic mode for Alabama. They didn't shoot the ball well. That's not like them. They're the highest scoring offense in terms of at least points. Auburn's the most efficient. But are you still confident in them making a run to at least, I don't know, the Elite Eight?
I mean, if you besides the 3-point shooting, if you just look like 7 turnovers, they're pretty good on the rebound, out rebounded them. Like if you told me that, like those 2 facts, I would have been like, okay, we won by like 10 points. But obviously that did not happen because you would have expected at least nobody, like Mark Sears was 2 for 11 from 3. That's like pretty bad. And besides those 2, and then once he made those 2, he just started bricking threes again. So, I mean, I would like to see the Missouri game because I think that's going to be a pretty hard game to win. Even though it's weird because Alabama's looked way better on the road, I think, than at home sometimes. I mean, it's just weird. I don't really know. But and they have the stretch. It's like
It's a brutal stretch.
If they play like that, they might win 2-3 games out of that.
Well, what's the stretch coming up? Who do they got?
I got you. It's Missouri, number 21 overall, Missouri, 15 Kentucky. They got 15 Kentucky, 22 Mississippi State, and then Tennessee, Florida, Auburn, all top 5 teams.
Tennessee and Auburn on the road, like I don't know. Even though I don't think Tennessee is like that.
Yeah, they almost just lost to Vanderbilt again. They needed Zakai Ziegler to bail them out. I don't know if they're
Vanderbilt is a pretty good team.
They are, but
they got it's Kentucky and
you're talking about Tennessee like a 1 seed in March Madness. You can't be. I think they're down 14.5.
Yeah.
Is Vanderbilt going to make the tournament?
They will.
They should.
I think we have them as a 9 in our bracketology. Might have to drop them after another loss, but
we'll have Arkansas in there. I'm like, I don't know how you could put Arkansas in there right now, but it's like
no, Arkansas will get blown out by Auburn and then get off the bubble. But the big story, at least one of the big stories for me in this game too, was Aiden Holloway, and I think he'll play better in these games because they're not against Auburn. But he had a wide open layup in the first half. And Janai Broom just decided not to contest him, and he proceeded to brick it. I think he just went back into the headspace of second half of the season Auburn Aiden Holloway, and he ended the game with an air ball. I mean, that was the perfect ending to that game for me, at least.
Yeah, he did not have a good game at all. I mean, especially in the beginning, he was turning it over, missing easy shots or open shots and open layups. It's just, thank you for doing that against us, having like your worst game of your career against Auburn, which is great.
And they
But
almost came back. What
he
does
he
that say
hit
for
one.
Auburn?
He did hit one big shot. I think at one point later in this game. I think he may have been the one to tie it up with us or bring
Sears,
it
or it
bring it
was
with.
Yeah.
Sears and then
Dude,
Stevenson.
I think it was either Stevenson or Youngblood, I think.
But either way, he Aiden Holloway did do one thing good in this game. He hit a big three that almost brought them back. So got to give him a little credit for that. But other than that, he had a terrible game, and I'm very appreciative for that.
There was like three layups. Like Grant Nelson thought it was like Michael Jordan trying to like dunk it from the free throw line, and I'm
That
like,
was wild.
dude, I'm like, what are you doing? And then Stevenson had it wide open under the basket and just bricked it over, like just dunked the ball. It's not that hard. And like, I mean, it was just some of those things where it's like you just knew, like even if they came back, you were waiting for that run, but you're gonna be like, how many points are they gonna be down to like need to get back? And it
Yeah,
just
that
wasn't.
that was the big difference because they were down 14 points. Then they made the run to tie it. Like even if they're down, if they make some of their free throws and they're down five, and they're up by six, and it's a lot harder for Tahaad Pettiford and Chad Baker Mazzara to hit those fuck you threes down and get Auburn back in it.
Yeah, I mean the free throw shooting too was not good. I mean,
And they
yeah,
gave you
like
so many too.
I mean,
A little shout at the refs there.
Y'all
I
should.
look. We won the game. I don't want to harp on the free throw shooting, but tough officiating both ways. I'm sure. I'm sure
It's
Bama
all.
fans. I'm sure Bama fans weren't too happy with the refs at some points too. But
It's also just the way Mark Sears and Bama kind of play. Mark Sears is a lot like Jalen Brunson, where
yeah,
he'll
he gets NBA
salivate.
calls. Like he gets like the James Harden kind of calls. James Harden 2018 calls.
Yeah, and I mean another give credit to Auburn. The free throw line, Alabama struggled, and Auburn has 90% free throw shooters that were nails. And I think Auburn missed like two free throws before the end when Broome decided to brick four in a row and almost let Alabama come back again. I hope he's okay. He's got another ankle issue. Seems like he always has one. But
Yeah.
before we get off of Tahaad Pettiford, Jack, I know you love this guy, so I just want to throw some stats at you, tell you why he's so much better than Aiden Holloway here. So Tahaad Pettiford in games on a neutral or road floor against Ken Palm top 10 teams. Houston, he had 21 points. Iowa State, he had 14. Duke, he had 20 points, four threes. Purdue, he had 18 points, five assists. And now against Alabama, 13 points, 11 of them in the second half, and seven of them coming down the final stretch of the under eight timeout.
Beast. He's my favorite player in college basketball right now for a reason, man. He's a true freshman, and he's just showing up in the biggest moments, making big time plays. I mean, that's what you love to see.
Yeah, he's him and Denver are like neck and neck for me right now. I don't know why I'm so infatuated with Denver Jones. I think it's just because he does it on both sides of the ball so well. But
You're obsessed with this guy, man.
he's shutting down the other team's best player. Meanwhile, in his last five games, he's 15 of 23 from 3 point range, and he hasn't committed a turnover.
Did you ask him to be your Valentine?
I should
I
have.
would be shocked if he didn't.
All right, I want to say two more things. One quick thing: Auburn. We still need to figure. We're not, foolproof. We still need to figure out the rebounding aspect. We again another game where we got out rebounded and it was bad. I mean, talk about all those opportunities that Mark Sears had. I mean, he had all those chances to miss all those shots because he had so many offensive rebounds coming his way. That's what worried me the most. Like that's what kept leading to these comebacks, the fact that we could not get a defensive rebound and Alabama kept getting these second chance points. But so
Yeah,
Auburn, we got to get in the lab and figure out the rebounding.
that's just like Bruce Pearl teams don't, and that's why Dylan Cardwell has to be on the floor because he'll just out rebound you. But when he's hacking everybody, and Alabama also with Big Cliff, that's the only reason he's there is to get rebounds. And Colin, I don't know if you think he has anything else in his bag, but from what I see from him, he just stands in the paint and gets rebounds.
I mean, besides rebounds and the occasional like alley-oop dunk, I mean, it's nothing really. I mean, I think that was in Holloway's 1-3 was Mark Sears bricked a three, Cliff gets it, kicks it back out to Youngblood, he bricks a three, and then rebound again, and then Aiden Holloway finally like makes a shot, and I was like, but I mean, he does with those like I think that's what started the run. It was like a reverse alley-oop dunk, and
Yeah.
then go on the run. So I mean, those two things. I mean, he makes some of these runs with that rebounding and with like those big momentum plays. But besides that, I mean, might have taken the worst corner three I've ever seen in my life. But like besides that.
Yeah, I don't know if you want him shooting the ball. Also, Chris Moore stopped shooting. I know you had a plus 17, and Chris Moore's a great glue guy, but Alabama's leaving you open for a reason.
Yeah, he got the Draymond treatment. It was hilarious.
He kept on taking them.
But Colin, I got one last question for you, being our Bama fan here. With the 2, 4, 6 games left they have down this final stretch, what do you think they go? What do you think their record looks like?
I mean, I think at Auburn is gonna be tough, obviously. I mean, I think Mizzou, I think it's kind of gonna be like the Mississippi State game because they just shoot threes too. So if they're, I mean, Grill could just go for like 30 if he really shoots well. But I think they probably win that. Kentucky at home. I don't, Kentucky's really weird because they have so many injuries. So I'd probably call that a win. Mississippi State a win. For some reason I think we probably beat Tennessee because they have no offense, and if we just shoot well, we'll win by 20. I mean, they have good defense, but their defense hasn't even like looked that good. I mean, that's how Kentucky beat them just by shooting threes. And then Florida, I think that's going to be a really fun game. I'm going to try to go to that because I think that's just going to be up and down all day. And then Auburn, I mean, probably I'd say two losses in the last six, probably. I would say.
And that might sure up the SEC regular season for your Auburn Tigers.
Yes, sir.
Which is fine. Brian, if Auburn doesn't win it all, is Florida your second pick to win it all?
Yeah, I think it's pretty clearly right now Auburn and then Florida and Duke and then everyone else. And Alabama's like right under that Florida Duke. Maybe Alabama
Yeah,
and Houston.
what
Yeah,
it
Houston's
reminds
there
me
too.
reminds me of those old Villanova teams that kind of lived and died by the three with Alabama is when they go cold, it doesn't matter how good they are, they expose themselves. So that's why, and Colin, obviously not a dig at you and to rag on you, but that's why, I just don't see a way Alabama wins it all based on the living and dying by the three. And because there's going to be a game they go cold, and they don't have that other thing that they can do to like stay in games, win games, that whole thing. So for me, I don't see Alabama getting it done, and Auburn, is back on that 1 to 2 spot of between Florida for me too. So that's kind of where I'm reading this after that game, and obviously there's a big game coming up when they got to travel down to Auburn and play them for the rematch.
Yeah, and if Bama has a good run, we could get a third or a second this season, but a third time under Bruce Pearl playing a 1 versus 2 game. And Bruce Pearl just set the record. He's the only coach to win 2 of those and could win a third.
Yeah, I mean, it's just free. I mean, if they go cold from three, they just have to make their free throws, and that's just not what they did at all. So
Yeah, it definitely
I,
could be dicey.
their run last year was just Mark Sears just was going off for like 25 points a game, and then you have like Grant Nelson maybe have like a game, but I mean, depends. I think Youngblood is going to be a big part, and Mo Diabate as well. I mean, Mo Diabate was the best player for Alabama yesterday. I mean,
What
his defensive.
what happened with him bleeding? I didn't see.
I think he just got elbowed in the face, which they did not call that.
Yeah, that
But
was they didn't review it or anything. He was just like bleeding from
uh,
everywhere.
I was, I mean, if somebody's bleeding, I mean, something has to have happened. I don't really care if it's accidental or not. Should be at least a foul.
Yeah, that
I
was
mean,
very
unless it was your
confusing.
own guy.
I don't think it was.
It could have been a bottle thrown from the student section.
Yeah, that is.
Apparently, there was some of that going on. Colin,
Yeah.
I gotta ask you, how do you feel about Nate Oates?
I mean, I like him when it goes good. It's like amazing, but then you're gonna have these games where it's like so frustrating just to brick through. I mean, it's the same thing as the Ole Miss game. Like, I mean, I think they played way worse in the Ole Miss game. Like that was horrible. Um, but I
Yeah,
mean, this was obviously an outcome that was gonna. I mean, it always kind of is, but I think he's good. I just like, is he almost flirted with the Kentucky job? I mean, if UNC fires their coach, I could see him going there, which would be interesting.
yeah, he
But
seems like with his analytical style, he seems like he wants to make the jump to the NBA. And I don't know what NBA team would take him, but I
I
think
don't, I
that's
don't,
the path.
yeah, because I just think his play style is like really fits NBA kind of. His
Yeah,
defense isn't as much. Like, I mean, the defense gap. I mean, they're more skilled players in the NBA, but they play no defense at all.
no, no.
So,
And Jack, I know you're trying to you were tweeting about Nate Oates today, about him throwing the players under the bus. I will give Nate Oates credit for when the student section was throwing stuff. I thought it was the ref on the mic and he was like telling them to knock it off, and he's pretty stern with it. So that
Well,
was
yeah, it's either NATO's get on the mic, tell the student section to stop throwing things on the court, or you're going to get a technical and Auburn gets free throws. Like obviously, NATO's is going to step up and do that. It's not you want to call him a hero or something?
no. I just think like it was a. I wasn't. I thought the ref was on the mic, and I saw Nate Oates was on the mic, and it was a good little speech. 10 seconds. I was proud of Nate Oates for that because he seems like such a cornball and everything else.
Well, he addressed that in the. I listened to him and Bruce Pearl in both of their post game pressers, and Nate Oates was like, "Yeah, like this is the first time I've ever had to address like the student section in like a college game, and like it was fine. It was weird or whatever, but the whole reason I did it is just so we didn't have to give Auburn free throws. I mean, this is a close game, competitive game. Like we can't afford to give them free points here.
Post game, but they never led. Not once.
War Eagle.
Or even.
Yeah, I think that's all you can say after that victory. But yeah, unless you guys got anything else, I think we can move on from this game. Unless you want to, I think we already gave our guesses on where Alabama's going to finish, gave our guesses on Auburn, the SEC. Maybe not wide open for a winner, but definitely a lot of teams going to make the tournament. So I think we'll cover the conference more than digging individual teams. But Jack and Brian get their victory. Round one goes to the Auburn Tigers, and still a long way to go till we get to March, and then we know the journey that March is in itself. We'll see if Auburn can even get out of the first weekend.
yeah, I would say Yale.
Look, I'm gonna tell you right now, these Auburn Tigers are finishing this regular season 29-2.
I could see.
And they very well could,
I
but
don't want
that'd
to
be even
see
worse.
Gonzaga as an 8 or a 9 seed in Auburn's region.
Don't care.
Oh my
Don't
gosh.
care.
I know that they're still gonna win that game, but that's gonna be a heart attack.
We're gonna treat this tournament like we did Maui.
I hope they don't.
Or
I don't want to be
Brian
down 18 at halftime.
Dubs, Brian. Dubs.
Brian, you will be so shook if they don't make it out of the first weekend.
I might have to stop doing this podcast.
Dude, that would be wild.
Sports.
I haven't done it since 2019.
It doesn't seem like it seems like they have to get out of that first weekend. But we'll wait
Especially
and
with
see.
Atlanta waiting in the Sweet 16, like you had to.
Right. You definitely do. But yeah, that's a wild game on Saturday. We've never had, I think, an SEC 1 versus 2 matchup ever before too. So cool stuff there. But yeah, two top teams in the SEC. We'll see what happens the rest of the way. I think it's time we jump on to. We'll keep Colin on for one more segment here. The Four Nations Cup. We haven't really covered a lot of it. I think they're already like 2-3 games in. USA knocked off Canada 3-1 in a physical, highly entertaining in front of the pro-Canada crowd in Montreal. And the United States went in there. They weren't scared. They didn't back down. Connor McDavid scored a goal pretty quickly. And as far as I'm concerned, we're the best in the world at hockey. And they claim hockey. So what's up, Canada?
It's never coming home.
It's never.
Were, 3 fights in the first 10 seconds after the Canadians booed the anthem?
The physicality was unbelievable. I think there was probably a little more of the guys got a little extra chip when the entire crowd was booing the anthem, right? I mean, you have to get a little more fired up when that's going down.
No, I
Yeah, I
think
mean, Trump should just fucking take over.
Yeah,
what Canada?
51st state. Yeah, 51st state. That's like the new thing that's getting thrown around. I don't think it would ever happen. I don't want Canada to be a part of us.
No,
Fuck Canada.
they're weak. We don't need them in the gene pool.
Yeah, F Canada, bro. Let them sit up there.
I just want their
Um,
18 plus drinking age. That's all that I want.
That's true. That's a nice rule.
They're what?
18 plus drinking age.
like you only got to be 18 to drink
Good
there.
law. Good law.
It's a good one.
Yeah, but if they take it over as a 51st state, then it would go to 21. But that's not what we need to focus on here. The U.S. roster is stacked. It's all guys in the NHL, so it's not like this was, I mean, the U.S. was favored in this game, so it's not like an unbelievable upset. It's more just, Canada, that's like what they're known for. That's their number one thing, and it's just hilarious that like we go in there and beat them by 2 goals.
Yeah, this was a ESPN stat, and I know how they've been with stats lately. We did a whole segment on it, and I didn't take time to fact check it, but it sounds right. They said, I think it was Steve Levy after the game. This was Sidney Crosby's first loss in a Canada uniform.
He was like 26-0, I believe. Hadn't lost in 15 years.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Wow.
Yeah, that is an unbelievable stat, and it shows you how good Canada is and has been, and that they do dominate the sport. But the U.S., this is what I think people, maybe Brian too, because I know he's a soccer guy. This is like what we hope the U.S. soccer team can come and do to the rest of the world at some point. Get on a level playing field, get on an even playing field, and then ultimately win. Hockey has been able to do that, and now we see them as the outright, best team. Maybe Canada has a better roster, but they're leading the group right now, and this is just awesome to see. Have so much nation pride that we're able to go in and win that.
It does help that Russia is invading Ukraine and wasn't allowed to do this.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, they were definitely not allowed to do this. Yeah, that's a tricky thing to say, Brian. It does help that Russia's
Yeah, I guess
invading
I could have
Ukraine.
worded that better, but
That could get clipped up and taken out of context real easily.
yeah, please listen to the full quote there. Yeah, but I mean, hey, I'm all down for U.S. national teams to be good, and if the soccer team can follow suit in the World Cup in 2 years, right?
Yeah,
2028,
next,
2020,
not this summer, but next
3 years,
summer, 2026.
2026. Yeah,
So next year, next
Weston
summer.
McKennie looks good for Juventus, so
Yeah, we'll see what happens. And again, I'm not trying to draw light. I was just trying to use an example that, like, hockey is able to get back, and maybe they never were that far off, but you know, soccer has been just brutal. But yeah, no, the physicality was unbelievable. The way the teams played were unbelievable. Connor Hellebuck, 25 saves. I mean, this is an unbelievable team. So I enjoyed watching the game. I hope they keep going on, but I don't think you can celebrate with the flowers just yet because they got a big game Monday against Sweden, and then they are guaranteed to. I don't know how they're going to do it, but the knockout round or like
it's
they're
one
automatically.
championship.
It's just one
It's just
game.
one game. So whoever's in second in the pool
Yeah.
plays them on Thursday and that's the championship.
Yeah.
Is the
So,
championship in Boston?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it'll be
it's
in
been
Boston.
awesome.
Yeah, we'll
speak,
boo their fucking anthem.
speaking of knockouts, I saw some hockey fights recently. Was that from like this game, from the USA Canada game?
Most
Yeah, there
likely because there was a
three
shit
in the
ton of
first
fights.
9 minutes. Both the Kachuk brothers go back to back. I mean, I was like, the first one, I was like, okay. And then I think it was Brady backed him up. They go like dap it up in the penalty box. I'm like, that's the greatest thing I've ever seen before.
It was unbelievable, especially like your brother too. Like your brother drops the gloves, fist fight. He's in the penalty box, and you back him up, go in and then dap him up in the penalty box after you and your brother just like start two fist fights. I don't know who did the U.S. sweep the fist fights, or how do we think
I
this
think the
played out?
third one, I think it was Miller. He
JT
was,
Miller,
yeah, he got kind of, I think he punched himself actually, accidentally.
really?
But he was out of his weight class, I think, for sure. But
Was it
Yeah,
Brady that kind of took the Canada guy to the ground.
Yeah, he like body slammed him on his
Yeah,
face.
that one was sick.
Uh,
Yeah, and Matthew said after the game, he was like, the message was we wanted to send, it's our time. We're here. You can claim hockey and claim to be the best, but we're here. We're a great team, and you're not just, it was a hostile environment. I mean, what a badass thing to do.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah, so I hope we get a rematch. Colin, Canada's playing
so they have to play Finland.
Finland. So I think
I
all
think
three have 2 points, right? So Sweden has two.
we'll get our rematch.
Even though Sweden's lost twice, they still have 2 points. But I think Sweden's probably gonna beat the US because I don't think
The U.S. will try.
uh, I already know they're starting Ottinger in goal. And then Matthew Tkachuk isn't playing, he's resting. So it'd be interesting to see if he's actually healthy for that final game because I don't think he really played a lot of the third period. I think he took himself out of the game.
Yeah, it says Kachuk didn't play the final 12:36 of the game because of a lower body injury. He stayed on the bench, so didn't go back to the locker room, but definitely should rest this guy up, and hopefully he can make it for Thursday. Other thing to note, just really quick here, Brian, Cale McCarr, I don't think played in this game, and he's a electric player. So if he plays Thursday in the rematch, he literally is a guy you put on the ice and can be a difference maker.
Yeah,
Their
that's
power play went 0 for 2, and that is the most stacked power play I've ever seen between Crosby, McKinnon, and McCarr is usually on that. And I
Is
think that,
McDavid out there as well?
yeah,
Yeah,
that's
like that's a
disgusting.
ridiculous power play.
It's
And they
so
killed two penalties, right?
yeah.
I
There was like
mean,
a
dude,
weird penalty after the third fight, which I was kind of confused. So they basically started the game on the power play, didn't score. And then really after that goal, the US kind of just dominated the rest of the game besides like the last 7 minutes. I mean, the USA was pretty much all over them for the most part.
is this tournament gonna be like a every 4 years thing?
I'm not exactly sure. I would
it,
assume that after the success of this are probably because I think it's through the NHL, if I believe. I think it's like an NHL.
Yeah, I think it replaces All-Star, right?
that's what I was just gonna
I think,
say. They're not doing the All-Star game, but they're
'Cause they,
doing this instead, which is way better.
yeah, they
yeah,
cracked the code for All-Star games.
yeah.
Yeah, the NBA should follow. But the NBA doesn't care about it being a good product. It's like an entertainment, like social gathering. That's what the NBA cares about it being.
Yeah.
Not, this is like, all right, now everybody gave a shit.
I mean,
And
seeing
both,
all Twitter not focusing at all on NBA All-Star Weekend and focusing on hockey, I've never seen that before personally, but maybe NHL
yeah,
is getting up there. I don't know.
This is the way
yeah,
to
and I,
do it.
yeah, and I do know, what was it? Tyler Hero won plus 500 as the 3 point. I was surprised those were the odds for him.
Big week for white people. Big
It's
week.
The
huge for
exciting, yeah, the exciting whites.
it's during
Extra
Black
five.
History Month too. Kind of problematic.
Yeah, problematic in itself. But if you guys got anything else on the game, yeah, we'll see if the U.S. can get it done on Thursday, and we will await an opponent as the week goes on. So hopefully, it's interesting. They go to Canada to beat Canada. Do they play Canada now in the U.S. and Canada comes back with a little more juice? This would be really bad if we win this game and then lose it all on Thursday. So, I guess we need to still remain confident, but let's proceed with caution. But yeah, that was a crazy hockey game. I'm glad it replaced the All-Star game. Maybe the NBA can follow in its footsteps. But if you guys got nothing else, I say we jump on to our next segment here.
Yeah, I couldn't find anything on if this is going to happen again or how many years down the road, but I'm sure it will after the success.
Yeah, I think it definitely should. All right, well, we are going to jump to the next one. We're going to take a quick break. Colin is going to jump on off here. So, Colin, thanks for hopping on, chopping it up with us, and hopefully next time you're in some better spirits for your basketball team?
Yeah, definitely.
I don't really hope
I don't
so.
know if I'm going to go as far as to say that.
I'm allowed to say that. No
That's fine.
biased opinion.
That's fine. I will say I'm sorry you had to come on in these circumstances. I was not rooting for Alabama, but I do feel bad.
All good. USA made my day. I completely forgot about it for a good 2 hours. And then I saw a picture of Janai Brune's hairline on my Instagram feed, and you know, I don't know.
That's some
Oh
good
man,
stuff right
got
there.
out denied. Pretty
Yeah,
Shout
sure
them out.
he lead the game with 19 points.
He
yeah.
led the game with 19 points. He led the game with 14 rebounds, and he led the game with 6 assists.
I mean, if he doesn't get drafted, Turkey, that's where I would advise him to go.
He'll get drafted.
He'll definitely get
I'm
drafted,
surprised you
but
didn't say Ukraine.
Well, the political climate right now,
For
I
that
don't know
reason.
I don't know about that one.
it would
All
definitely be a
right.
little dicey. But Colin, thanks for hopping on, man. Taking some time out of your weekend. I know we're all recovering from the weekend, but it's always good to chop it up and talk some ball.
Thank you.
We're back. Matt, Jack, and Brian, the normal crew, the normal crowd, and we are here. Brian said he's done getting upset about the All-Star game. Actually, he said he was done getting upset about the Pro Bowl, but these two both can correlate together because it's these leagues trying to highlight their best players, and they don't really do so. But the NBA All-Star game is going on this weekend. Saturday night, they have their festivities and then end it Sunday night. It used to just be a game. Now it's I don't even know what the hell they're doing now, man. But we will send it over to our NBA correspondent, Brian Hauk, who's been on the scene and maybe has a way the NBA can fix this disaster of a weekend.
Yeah, so before I get into Mac McClung and Tyler Hero and CP3 trying to break what was already broken and get disqualified from a stupid skills competition, I think I have a way to fix the All-Star game. And I'm also going to write a blog tomorrow about this so I could channel my anger into coherent thoughts because it may not come out so coherent on this podcast. The four nations have, like we just said, have cracked the code on an All-Star weekend. Meanwhile, you have the state of world basketball, where you have the NBA that their players are calling the sport boring. Draymond Green just called NBA games boring. And you have FIBA with international players that are quickly on the rise. Most of those players play in the NBA, but the fans over in Europe like to believe the best players in Europe stay in Europe. It's not true, but that's what they want to believe. So, Adam, if you are listening to this podcast, this is how you prove your league is the best, so you get more attraction to your league. You get more European talent to come to your league because it is the best, although most of the European talent already comes. This is how you get USA to say, give the one finger salute to all the other countries like USA just did to Canada in hockey.
What's the one finger salute? I know. I wanted Brian to do it.
Invite the champion of the Euro League that these Europeans love to say is the greatest team and love to say every year the NBA champion can't call themselves world champions because they didn't play the best team. Invite the EuroLeague champion to the All-Star game and have whatever the host city is, it could be Charlotte, it could be Golden State, it could be whatever. That team, which probably didn't win the title that year, is probably like a middling team in your league. Have them play the EuroLeague All-Stars. I am sure the EuroLeague All-Stars are going to chirp the living shit out of that NBA team. All the fans are going to chirp them saying, we're better than you. This isn't even your All-Star team. Talk to your NBA guys. Tell them we're going to give you all $2 million if you win this game. They'll probably win that game by 40. And we could end this debate, and you could have it every year where the EuroLeague All-Stars like, oh, we had to play the Celtics. They're the best team. That's fine. Next year we'll get Charlotte and we'll beat them.
And they do. They do this already with the MLS. The MLS All-Star Game is all, and for those who, for whatever reason, wouldn't know, MLS is the United States Major League Soccer. But the MLS All-Stars, they take all the best players who are currently in form that year. who are the best in the league, put them on one team, and then they bring some club, not an all-star club from Europe, just, Arsenal, Bayern Munich, a team like that comes over and plays the MLS All-Star game. I think there have been close games, but more often than not, the European team like blows out the MLS All-Stars. So I think you're saying you want to do role reversed and say bring the EuroLeague All-Stars over here just to play a one singular NBA team.
Yeah, and that's even I wasn't even aware of that, but if we're sending our best knowing we're worse, we're not saying we're going to beat you. Europe continues to say we're going to beat you in basketball, so humble them. Please humble them. I am so sick of Europeans. On Twitter this week, I saw a whole discussion about how a Chick-fil-A sandwich is supposed to be called a burger by some person in London. That almost melted my mind. I am so sick of this basketball debate. I'm so sick of people over in London thinking Americans are dumb when they call chicken sandwiches burgers. I'm sick of it. Bring the EuroLeague champion here, and we'll beat the living hell out of them.
People in London have zero right to discuss food.
Yeah, there's also that.
The UK is the worst food I've ever been around in my life. I never wish to go back for that sole reason.
Yeah, I see those TikToks all the time of that spud truck where the people order like beans and.
Bro, the spud truck looks kind of gas. I gotta be honest,
Yo,
bro. That shit looks.
If you put the right stuff on it, like if you get cheese,
you're never gonna catch me putting tuna. No, but dude, you're telling me. I mean, it's a glorified baked potato. That's like, Jack. I don't know. I think you're nuts for not liking that, dude.
People are putting like beans and tuna on it.
The beans are probably gas.
Yeah, the beans are good, but the beans with the tuna
is outrageous. I agree.
Yeah,
I agree. But it's a la carte style, right? Like you can pick and mix and match what you want to do.
Whose cart?
You said it right.
That did not work. All right.
What did I say wrong now?
No, you said it right. I think Jack was trying to make a joke.
No, I thought Matt said alley cart. It's like
you just said a la really fast.
Oh, there you go. Bad. See, this is what I'm talking about. Jack's always out to get me, dude. It's crazy. But anyway,
it's that Philly accent, brother.
It's crazy,
I can't understand.
It's fine. It's fine, but it's a little nuts. But anyway, the Spuds food in England, I think if you there are some outrageous options. But for the most part, you can make a pretty fire. I'll call it a potato. I won't call it a spud. But you can make a fire dish. And I'll leave it at that. We don't have to go too crazy, but I will defend the spud. I think that shit's fire. Other than that, all the other food, you can miss me with it.
Yeah, the point I was more making, I like a baked potato, but it's the stuff they put on that baked potato that's disgusting.
Right, tuna, beans, and cheese is outrageous.
Yeah. But either way, Adam, make a call to the EuroLeague. Get your translator on it. They speak English, but actually there's some Spain teams in the EuroLeague. So maybe you need to get a translator and get them over here, and the Charlotte Hornets will beat them by 50 and drop a 50 burger, or I guess a 50 chicken sandwich on them. Back to the NBA.
Hold on. Just really quick. Say the All-Star, just for like simple thinking here, is in LA. So the Lakers would be the team that has to play. What happened? Like, does Luka Doncic play in that game? Because then they're like, oh, like Luka's European, like he's the best guy.
Yeah.
Like, but he plays for the Lakers.
Yes, because the whole basis of Europeans' argument is
that they're playing. So there's Americans on the Euro All-Star League team.
Yes, they say their league is better. They refuse to adhere to logic and think that Europeans come over to play in the NBA.
And it's a good league. It's an elite league, but it's not better than the NBA.
Look, it's just a little foolish because when we go to the Olympics and we see the best players from every country play, there's nobody that competes with the U.S. And all of the other best teams in the world, the Greeces, the Germanys, the Frances, all of their best players are playing in the NBA.
Yes. Yeah,
from Giannis to Joker. It's stupid. It's foolish.
You can't get it to their heads. And I will say the world is catching up, especially considering we needed a 35-year-old Steph Curry to bail us out twice in the Olympics. But U.S. is still on top.
Yes, no doubt. But that is getting closer than the NBA compared to a foreign league.
Yeah, that'll never.
That is just not even close.
No. I guess we could talk about the actual All-Star game.
Oh, wait. Well, really quick, also, this could go against us, Brian, because the MLS All-Star team is 9-8 overall in playing this game. So they actually are beating these
But
clubs.
do those clubs play? Is it their A team?
It's definitely a mix, but there are some A side guys in there, but it's definitely probably not like a full level. But then you could ask the same question: Are the Charlotte Hornets going to play their A team? Meaning, like,
Well, I'm saying you
were
give each player like
like
two
do the
mil so they make
Lakers
sure
sit
they play their A team.
LeBron and Lucas sit out because it's all, and then now you have G League guys playing. So that's where it could get a little tricky too. And I understand the money aspect, but I didn't think of that.
Yeah, I get it would be a little tricky just to get the players to like completely buy in. But if you throw 2 million, and that's a lot of money, I understand, but it would fix your All-Star game. So I think the revenue would, and everyone in Europe would watch. So I don't think that'd be an issue. It's never going to happen
Yeah,
because Adam Silver is more focused on shortening
hates
games.
hates the league. Yeah,
Um,
dude, ridiculous. Brian, what happened with Mac McClung?
yeah, well, I'll be quick. On the
Did
last
I say his
podcast,
name right, Jack?
Yes, yes. I'm happy you made that transition. That's why I was laughing. I was like, thank you for reeling him back in.
I the last podcast I asked the question about UConn three-peating. I should have asked the question about Mac McClung three-peating.
Yeah, I didn't realize he was still on this tear. And it's a guy who has zero NBA minutes and goes in and wins the NBA dunk contest. That in itself is a disaster for the league.
He has 2 rebounds and 1 assist this year in the NBA.
Oh, so he does have minutes? Okay. Either more to my point is
Yeah,
you know
no,
what
I
I
wasn't
mean,
trying
and
to argue with you. I was
it's a
more saying
joke.
like it's a joke.
It's a joke. It's a total joke, but continue.
Yeah. Meanwhile, there was a. Did you guys see the dunk contest at the halftime of the Cavaliers game the other day? It was
No.
like
No.
it was a generational dunk contest, better than anything I've
What?
seen in the NBA since like the Gordon and uh,
Levine.
who did Aaron Gordon go against?
Zach Levine.
Yeah,
Levine.
Levine, the Gordon Levine dunk contest, best dunk contest I've seen since then. It was at halftime of a Cavs game.
Will were they on trampolines or is it
No,
Who were the people doing it?
some black dude, some white dude, just squaring off.
What?
not like out of the stands? They
No
had to be
way.
actual.
I think they were like the halftime entertainment.
Okay, yeah, so they were hired.
So they hired, yeah. Still, that's crazy.
That is
I gotta
crazy.
look that up.
It
I mean,
was
and
the best dunk contest I've seen in a minute.
Mac McClung's dunks are good. It's just
Yeah, like he
no one
can put
else's
on a
are good.
show. It's just a joke. Like this is supposed to be like showcasing the top talent in your league, and like so he's the best dunker,
Well, the
but
thing
like
is,
he
is like
doesn't play. Like it just doesn't seem right.
these guys should be all stars, in my opinion. I mean,
Right.
it does give like I would say like the rising stars, like rising stars. You can put them in there, but these guys should be well known. You know what I mean? Like
It's like
Well,
Mac
see,
McClung's like 26 now or 28 now. I feel like there is no rising star aspect to his career anymore. He's clinging on to the All Star game just to say remotely relevant for a weekend out of the year.
well, also to get paid. I saw that his like career earnings is about like 300K, and he won like
yeah,
300K from winning this dunk contest or something like that. It's
yeah,
Yeah.
insane. He makes his entire career or excuse me, his entire career earnings in a single weekend winning the dunk contest. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
He just has to work one weekend a year.
yeah. And Jack, going back to your point about all stars, that's kind of the whole catch-22 of this thing. And I'm not going to get too deep into it, but when social media and streaming services kind of started, that's when this got ruined because now every fan could watch whoever they want every single night. And back before this, when the dunk contest was good, you had to enter to like show fans what you could do and put on a show. And they could still see you on their cable package when they play their opposing team. But now it's you have half these players have YouTube channels or TikTok accounts. Jerry McCain's dancing on TikTok. Like everyone knows who he is because of that. They don't need to go see
Right.
him play in an All-Star game.
Right. They know them more for that sometimes than even knowing them for being a basketball player, whatever their actual, career is.
Yeah, maybe high school mixtapes too might have ended this. Like everyone's known about these guys. Like people knew who Cooper Flag was in 8th grade.
Yeah.
So it's just
But
it's a
who cares if everybody knows who they are?
Yeah, I don't know where Brian's going with this one.
no. I'm saying like it used to be. I guess you could kind of make a name for yourself. now that's over. So what they're doing is they're getting these guys that haven't made a name for themselves in the league, trying to make a name for themselves. But what that does is you don't get the big talent pool because the big talent pool has already been all over social media and been all over the highlights and been on League Pass where anybody who wants to watch them can watch them.
Not following, brother. I think you tell the Donovan Mitchells and the LeBron James and the Wembys and the whoever else of the All-Star cast and crew, you three of you guys are competing in this damn dunk contest. Like it's happening. Like we need to see the best of the best doing this kind of stuff. And I understand like a 40-year-old LeBron is not like dunk contest material, but you know,
Yeah.
I'm trying to think like an Ant Edwards, get your ass in the dunk contest.
Yeah, well, Ja did tweet after Mac
Ja,
won. Ja said the Mac three-peat is making me want to join the dunk contest. And then Giannis, who was abysmal in his dunk contest appearance, but he quoted it and said, "I'm in if you're in." So maybe they'll get in
Yeah,
to finally
Giannis,
stop.
I don't need to see Giannis, but it's those guys like Edwards, Ja Morant, like those freaky athletic, like you know, what do you? Because it's not like Ja, like or not Ja, Giannis or like a center, like they're horrible at the dunk contest. You need those like freaky athletic guards or like wing player that's athletic and
with
can
the
and can
crazy
dunk.
bounce. Yeah, no doubt. I
Exactly.
mean, that's what I would prefer to see if I had my way. But at the same time, if my choices are Giannis or Mac McClung, I'm choosing Giannis every time. Like I'd rather see the stars in there. That's what people
Yeah.
care about.
Yeah,
No one cares about
Yeah.
Mac McClung
but
showing up for a
No.
this,
weekend.
yeah,
No.
Sorry,
and it'd
Mac.
be great,
It's
but
a
the stars
joke.
like don't need to do it, and that's their thinking. And maybe I need to write a blog about this.
They don't need to do it, and think about it too, is like this is kind of like their weekend off, right? Like the NBA shut down on Thursday, and when did they go back? Tuesday. So like,
Yep.
wouldn't you rather like you're these stars just go chill and do whatever you want for now you're like tied to going to the city, going to this event. You're like kind of still working. I think that's the aspect in it is like they just want to be left alone.
Yeah, yeah. I think I am going to write a blog about this tomorrow because it's the history of the dunk contest is fascinating. It started in the '70s by the ABA. Honestly, a group of guys in Section 400 that just wanted to start a basketball league had no idea what they were doing, and they were like, "Let's just invite these guys to a dunk contest." And Dr. J dunked from the free throw line, and everyone, the legend of Dr. J was born. And that's what you
Yeah.
can't do anymore. I guess that's my original argument. Like you can't become a legend from the dunk contest because you're already a legend from being on social media and the fans have a bunch of access to you. The ABA didn't have any TV deals, like no one knew who Dr. J was, and that's just a change of the times. But that's kind of why it hasn't elevated itself and it's kind of plateaued and now gone downhill.
Yeah, I feel like I understand where you're coming from now, but you're going like way too far back. Like it wasn't that long ago that we were having awesome dunk contests with like Dwight Howard and Aaron Gordon and the Zach Levines of the world, like Vince Carter's. Like that, this really wasn't that long ago.
Yeah, but everyone was watching their favorite team on their one cable channel. The league pass and stuff is relatively new.
Dude, wasn't it like
I don't.
2019 when it was like Gordon and Levine?
It's like 15, but that was kind of the last good era. And that was as we started transitioning to like, I mean, Twitter and Instagram and all those Snapchat and everything only really got big in like
Yeah,
13.
but Brian, I'm still not quite understanding why. Because like, are you saying this is because like this is the problem? The players won't do it.
No, I'm saying the players are so accessible to the fans. There's no reason for them to try in an event that used to be when the fans
Brian's
couldn't
saying
see
that
Okay.
everybody.
it's an extra platform to
Yeah,
showcase
but like that's not what it should be
yourself.
about. Like,
Well, that's what Brian's trying to make a
That's what it
point
was
about.
originally about. It's an all-star game. You're there to show you're the best of the best and show your abilities to a whole collection of fans that are fans of every team. Now everybody knows what every player is doing almost 24/7 because they're either tweeting about it on TikTok or making vlogs on YouTube.
they need to do a fan vote. That's what they need to do. Adam Silver, you got to set up the fan vote for the dunk contest, and whoever the fans vote in has to do it. Simple as that.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, we need to like have the players like sign in and agree with that. Like, look, if everybody in the world that watches the NBA wants Ja Morant in the dunk contest, Ja, please just do the dunk contest.
I think if there's one guy that's going to do it, it's going to be him. He wants
Yeah.
to stop Mac McClung's reign of terror.
Yeah, I get I mean, I feel like Levine would still be good. Aaron Gordon might be a little washed, but like Levine probably would still be good too.
Maybe.
Yeah, I don't know if he wants to. He's been in and out of injuries.
I
I don't know
know,
if he
but
wants
I'm
to
just
do it.
saying, like, there's still, it's not like there's like a lack of talent to do it. You know what I mean? Like, there's still so many great candidates that can put on an exceptional hour performance or whatever they got to go do to do this. And it's, 3 years of Mac McClung instead.
Yeah, exactly.
The 3-point contest, what'd you think of that? We had Tyler Hero won that. I mean, that still is what it is. I think there's some extra skill to that. Or did they butcher it? I didn't watch. I just saw that Hero won. Plus
From
500, by the way.
from the little bit that I saw, it looked like no one was trying in that either. Dame Lillard scored like 14 points.
But you're at least having like NBA talent,
I guess they should have just stuck with the
like
Steph
Tyler
versus
Hero,
Sabrina
Dame
thing.
Lillard.
Should
Yeah,
have
that was
Caitlin
good.
Clark shoot against, I don't know, maybe Tyler Hero since he won the 3-point contest.
That was
Yeah,
really good last year.
that's a big L. That sucks that didn't happen. The Sabrina and Steph thing last year was awesome.
Well, I think it was because she almost beat him, so now nobody's ever going to do that. I don't even think Steph thought it was going to be that close, and he got the narrow victory. He got the hell out of there.
Yeah, no one wants to go up against CC.
Yeah,
Nobody wants to lose to the girl, dude.
I think the WNBA has a pride thing now because they had their whole unrivaled kind of
It's a
tournament.
total pride thing, dude. You're telling me that you send who's somebody with like a big personality that shoots a three against a girl and they lose to the girl, like they'd be rattled.
Paul
Like
George. Paul George
An-
would fucking
throw An-
retire, dude.
throw Anna Edwards out there and he loses to Caitlin Clark, bro. You're telling me that he's not like gonna trip the fuck out?
If you put Ant Edwards there, I think he's making every shot.
Yeah, but I'm saying, if he doesn't, like that's
Yeah, I
something
just
I'm saying where
if
the
he
announce
doesn't, but yeah,
like there's right. He's probably gonna blow him out and make every shot, but there's an avenue for him not to do that, and there's whether it's a 0.5% chance of him losing, there's still that chance that's out there, and if they lose, they'd be. I don't think that their what's the word I'm looking for? Their egos would be able to handle it.
Definitely need to have a lot of confidence if you're a basketball player.
And now with Caitlin Clark, who like damn well probably could knock these guys off, they're definitely not going to do it.
yeah, I don't know. I
I
think
think
you're
I'm,
giving them
I'm I think I'm 100% spot on.
maybe for some guys, but I feel like a lot of them just wouldn't care.
Yeah,
Maybe that's the issue with
exactly.
it. So
Maybe. Yeah, I don't know, but
Yeah, last thing on this list is the skills competition, where we saw the team Spurs, Victor Wembanyama and Chris Paul try to scheme the game, and they
you want
got
to talk about not trying though? I feel like Wembenyama was just floating around out there, just totally not trying.
well, they tried to rig it.
yeah, they tried to like
I didn't even see
screw
that
with the
part.
game. They were like, "Oh, I don't care about shooting these shots. Like, I'm just trying to get through this as fast as possible." And of course, that's just like a Chris Paul move, trying to scheme the game, being a
Totally
little
Chris Paul.
being a little cheater. And I'm glad that he got disqualified for it.
Oh yeah, because
Was it like a funny disqualification, or like were people heated and it was like a serious matter?
the other teams acted like they were mad, but I don't think they really cared. But the whole thing was so it's you make the passes through the little target, and you got to make a layup, and then you got to shoot some threes. But they give you three balls to make the three, and it's either the first one you make or if you go through all three. So Wemby and Chris Paul were just picking them up and flinging them, and then just going to the next thing.
So what did they do to get disqualified? Like, is that not allowed?
Yeah, because you're supposed to shoot it.
You're supposed to try, and they
Oh, so there was
basically
they weren't really breaking a rule.
No, it
They
was the classic Chris Paul. Let me
they
see how I
found
can
a
cheese this.
loophole. They found a loophole in the system that the NBA never cracked down on. They exploited that loophole and then got disqualified for making the NBA All-Star Weekend look like more of a joke than it already is.
exactly yes.
And
This is how that
apparently,
happens.
And Adam had to put down the hammer and crack down
Yeah,
the whip on Chris
and
Paul, saying,
he,
"No,
yep.
take this seriously."
Apparently there was something in writing because some rules official did have a clipboard with a piece of paper on it, and they was pointing to some kind of rule. So maybe there was something, but
Yeah, I don't know. It's like I said, I'm never getting. I used to watch back in the day. I know we don't have to go 15 rounds on this, but there's like no not like it's gone from like I watched to like being into it to like all right now I just have it on to like now I just like I don't even turn it on.
Well, I don't know who's doing the performance, if there is anybody for the All Star game, but J. Cole's All Star performance a couple years ago is probably the last time I watched the All Stars.
yeah, that was good. They had LiAngelo Ball do his one song last night.
Yeah,
That's on brand. I like that.
and they had
How'd he do?
Lonzo bring him out. It was pretty solid. I go back to and I think we talked about this about the Super Bowl. Rappers performing live, I feel like isn't like great. And I thought he was like fine. But were we talking about this?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I just, so it was like okay. It was like whatever. But I just, the live performance for rappers are just, it's I don't know.
yeah, you got to add some kind of something to it, which Kendrick told a
Yeah.
story and like, or you got to have the crazy effects or the crazy dancers, and LiAngelo just kind of had himself standing there with like
He
10
was kind of
dancers.
just like walking around the court, dude. It was pretty ridiculous. But you have Jack Harlow's song here, Brian. What was that all about?
Oh no, that was just a bad joke about Tyler Hero winning the slam dunk or the 3-point contest.
I know that's where you're going. I just wanted you to have to explain that. Oh my god. Oh my
I did have
gosh.
the celebrity all-star game on here too, and I put celebrities in quotations because I don't know when this
Dude,
started.
it's like a joke, man. It's like a joke of like a game. It's what
Well,
the
the
Kai
only two
Cenat out there.
celebrities I knew, or I guess I knew three. I knew Kai Cenat, Drewski, and Noah Kahan,
Yeah.
the
Those are
stick
those
season
are the
guy.
only three I knew.
It's
Who
like
else was out there?
I don't know. I didn't recognize any of the names.
All right, we got to look this up. And
I mean, at least when they had Kevin Hart, it was
like, was
Kevin
it just
Hart.
absolute? Oh, Rome Finn MVP. Who the hell is that?
Never seen the guy in my life.
Drewski had another. I don't know how this dude always like makes clippable videos, but he did the he thought he was gonna win MVP and he made like the face and now it's going around Jason Tatum when Jalen Brown won finals.
Rome Flynn's got to be. He's an Emmy-winning actor.
All right, let
That
me look up Rome
qualifies as
Flynn.
celebrity. No,
Yeah, I don't know him.
Rome
no,
Flynn.
I know, and I don't know the guy either. But I'm just saying, in terms of what we're doing.
Okay. He's a Tyler Perry guy. I know I know How to Get Away with Murder. And everything else is either Tyler Perry something called Raising Dion, Chicago Fire. Okay, I've heard of that, and a Hallmark Christmas movie. Like I feel like last year they even invited Micah Parsons. They had CJ Stroud there. Like there were no football players, no baseball players, no anybody.
Shabuzi.
Oh, Shabuzi. Okay,
T.O. was on a team.
I guess that too.
And then other than that, then it then it really falls off.
Even
I
when
don't
they
know.
had Ernie Duncan, I think his name was, whoever the Secretary of Education was forever ago, he dropped like 20 every time. Like you
Yeah,
need
but
these
like
recurring guys that at least
yeah,
they
yeah,
just
you do.
for a funny bit.
Baron Davis played.
But like
That's wild.
they used to have like Kevin Hart and like who was the other one he went up against? Kevin Hart and the big dude.
Oh,
Usain Bolt.
yeah, they had Usain Bolt
Usain
a couple
Bolt. They
times.
had that whole little thing. They had like the dribbling competition between them.
Yeah, they just remember when Draymond had a 3-point contest with Kevin Hart and lost.
Yeah, that was wild. But Brian, the one thing that I'm surprised you didn't note because you're always our stats and facts guy. First time in 20 All-Star games that we will not see LeBron James as a starter.
He's not starting.
No, not playing. Foot injury.
Oh, Okay. Wait, he's played in every All-Star game?
20 straight
Wow.
starts.
Wow.
20 straight starts.
That's
And
crazy.
he was
Huh.
trying to suit up. I'm
Yeah.
surprised Embiid's not playing.
You'd feel like with
He gets ready to go for this one.
you feel like he would the type of guy he is, he'd suit up and then they'd throw the ball out of bounds and he'd just go right to the bench and not play another minute.
Yeah, I don't know, but that's what we got. No LeBron James. It's a 20 straight starts. That's a long time, dude, for a fucking All-Star game.
Yeah, the first one he was in had like Allen Iverson and Yao
Yeah,
Ming, Tracy McGrady.
yeah. And now it's wild to think, but I just thought that was a cool little stat from who's going to be the guy because he's usually like the guy on All Star Game weekend. I mean, right? It's been the last 20 years, so is it going to be Steph Curry? Like, who's going to be the guy now?
I don't think there's going to be a chance for someone to be the guy because now they're doing that tournament thing.
Oh, right. Do you want to explain how that works to everybody?
Yeah, I'll do it real quick because it's really not that interesting.
It's just two teams play each other, then the winner plays, or
Yeah, so
like
Ernie,
just
no, not
four
Ernie.
teams.
Kenny, the Inside the NBA crew drafted, but it was a Fugazi draft because of what it ended up being was there's one team that's like veterans, one team that's the Euro stars, and one team that's like the rising stars, but they're the real all stars. So the guys that like in between rising stars, the young all stars, and then the fourth
Right.
team was the winner of the Rising Stars Challenge. So there was three Rising Stars team and the G League team, and they played on Friday. And the team that won that is the fourth team in this. So there'll be two rounds, and then the second round's the championship, and the games are to 40 points.
And I'll say this, I do kind of like this format only because we're gonna see guys like Dalton Connect, Stephon Castle, Zach Edey, like these young bucks, like these rookies going up against all-star teams like Shea, Nikola Jokic, Donovan Mitchell, like, and then like the Jalen Brown. Who else is over here? Jalen Brown, Dame Lillard, KD, Steph. Like this is, I feel like we're gonna get some fun matchups here. Like, and yeah, the young stars might get crapped on by
Yeah,
Steph
Team C is horrible.
by Steph Curry.
It's all the rising stars. They're going
Yeah,
to
but
get
like,
worked.
but okay, you say they're gonna get worked, but think about how seriously they're gonna take this,
I
and
don't know
think
if they
about
will.
Look
maybe
at this
not, maybe
roster.
not,
They are going to
but.
get, bro.
Can
This
we
isn't
think?
even a debate.
Can we look back at how the NBA All Star Game was played last year? I bet you guys didn't even watch it. Wouldn't blame
You're
you.
telling me,
But they're just chucking up threes from half court all game. Like this is going
bro,
to be an actual game, maybe.
Steph Curry, Jason Tatum,
Maybe.
Kevin Durant, Damian Lillard, James Harden, Jalen Brown versus Stephon Castle, Ryan Dunn, Zach Edey, Keontae George, Trace Jackson Davis, Jordan Connect, and Jalen Wells.
Look,
I
That's going
think
to be a close game.
I think there is the factor
but there's like
that
if Jason Tatum and Kevin Durant and everybody tries, no, it's not going to be a close game. But you can't tell me they're actually going to try this game.
Yeah,
I
but then
think
that hurts the whatever the
I think
product.
that I think the rising stars are going to try their asses off,
And
and
then
that might be
the
a
veteran
difference.
guys get pitched and
And yeah,
start
it might be
trying.
a difference maker. Yeah, I think it might like be like a catalyst, and then like the KD's like I ain't getting cooked by this young
Yeah,
buck,
I ain't losing to these guys.
and then we see vintage KD, man. I don't know.
I don't think
Maybe.
they're going to
Shaq's team is
try.
definitely the best team.
I don't think they're going to try in the way we. I guess they don't even try in the regular season, but I don't. They're not going to try in the way they try in the playoffs. But I think there is the factor of it not being a full game, it just going to 40 points, where there's not the fatigue, so they can feel like they can at least go a full game without taking off a possession. And I don't know how much effort every possession will be, but it's at least dumbed, not dumbed's the wrong word, but shortened down to the point where there won't be fatigue. So I don't know.
I don't
Maybe
know.
it'll be interesting. I'll tune in.
It's a new format, so I guess we can tune in for the format. It is also, I guess they're in California, so it doesn't matter, but like the second game starts at like 9:30. So if you're on the East Coast, like you're not like most people probably aren't even tuning in.
Well, hopefully everybody's got work off tomorrow.
Oh, that's true. I forgot tomorrow's a holiday. I don't have off work, but
Right now.
Wait, don't wait.
it never does. But yeah, that's what we got going on. So
What time's that get? Is it start at 8?
8:20 is the first one. 9:20 or 9:30 is the second one.
Why are they doing the 8:20? No, just start at 8 o'clock.
I don't
Look,
know.
all I'm saying, I think I'm taking the Rising Stars to win this whole thing.
Should we all make a pick, even though it'll be decided by the time this comes out?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm taking the Rising Stars to win this whole thing. Shout out the Rooks.
What's the team with Wemby on it?
That's Chuck's global team.
I'll take Chuck's global team.
It's got like Shea, Nikola Jokic, Donovan Mitchell, Pascal Siakam, Cat, Wemby, Trey Young.
Yeah, and that
Yeah.
horrible team of
Sanguine.
Stephon Castle, Ryan Dunn, Zach Edey, like all those guys, is coached by Candace Parker.
Yep, they're gonna have her win the All-Star game, coach of the day or whatever. I don't even know what they call
Is
that.
that first game against Chuck? Could get a UT versus Auburn.
No, the first game will be good, but the second team is Shaq's team, or the second game is Shaq's team versus the Rising Stars.
So you're gonna take Shaq's team then?
Yeah, I mean that's the only other team to take, and I was looking at the line. Shaq's team opened at their 7-point favorite, -400.
If there are people betting on these games, that's and it
Probably
takes a lot
people-
for me to say to call the number, but
There's probably people hammering these games.
Well, I'm looking at Shaq's team right now, and Anthony Davis and LeBron are both on this team. But like you're telling me like, oh, Anthony Davis got replaced by
Yeah.
Kyrie.
I think
But-
they're both not playing.
Kyrie's not playing either.
No, AD and LeBron.
AD and LeBron aren't playing. So
yeah, Anthony Edwards is on Kenny's team.
bro, the only big that they have is Kevin Durant. I don't know, man. We'll see.
That's not going to be.
I think AD's gonna eat Kevin Durant's lunch.
Yeah, that's the matchup. Someone's gonna have to deal with Edie.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that's enough of the NBA.
I'm actually
Yeah.
pumped for this now.
Yeah, it's pretty wild, but that's the NBA All-Star game, All-Star weekend in a nutshell. Hopefully, maybe this is a hit and the NBA would have cracked the code. I like Brian's idea, probably a logistical nightmare to get it all set up, but I think that's a good effort there on you, Brian. Why don't we talk a little bit of MLB and then end us off here with the mic of the week?
Forgot about MLB.
We'll jump into some MLB here. We had, other than Juan Soto, I probably should have started this and said the biggest free agent fell off the board to get Brian going, but I wasn't going to say that. But pretty big one. Bregman to the Red Sox. And I was texting Brian about it because this news broke right after the podcast. And I said, there's always the news. But Brian wasn't upset about it. He thinks the Red Sox are going to stink. And this
Did I say
team
stink?
is. No, but you were like, oh, if it was the Dodgers or the Phillies, or I would have been more rattled. It's just the Red Sox. They're not going to be that good. I think the Red Sox could be sneaky very good this year.
They could be a wild card team. I don't think they're better than the Yankees. The Rays are always going to be there. And the Orioles, everyone's kind of forgetting about them because they didn't really have an offseason. But they're still have been in the playoffs the last 2 years. It's a crowded division. Bregman's good. He'll probably play second base, I think. They're going to move him there to keep Devers at third. They'll be good. I don't know. They're in the AL. I don't think anyone in the AL is that good. My focus is on the NL East and the Dodgers.
Dude,
Which makes sense.
I think the Red Sox will be better than the Orioles.
I could see them being better than the Orioles, but I'm saying like
I think that's a hot take, though, right?
Zach Eflin, Grayson Rodriguez, Charlie Morton, Dean Kremer, Tomoyuki Sagano. That's the Orioles' projected rotation.
it's fine.
That's horrible.
It's a lot what the Mets looked like last year.
And it wasn't very good.
Made it to the NLCS,
They relied on their bats.
which is what the Orioles have.
They do. They definitely do. But like Gunnar Henderson, Jordan Westbrook, Adley Rutschman, Colton Cowser, Tyler O'Neill, Ryan O'Hearn. Eh,
And
it's
Tyler O'Neill
it's.
is fine. He hit 30 homers last year.
I just think they could have went all in on some bigger pieces to glue with these young, borderline superstar talent guys, and they just didn't really go all in. Like they could, like Tyler O'Neill is going all in with your splash move.
Yeah, I was reading up on their front office.
40-year-old Charlie Morton is going to anchor down that rotation.
It seems like their general manager,
That's not what they do.
he wants
They
to play Moneyball, and the owners have the money to have him like play Moneyball, but play it the way David Stearns is playing it with Steve Cohen, or the Dodgers are playing it, where you are analytically sound, but you can still spend. And it sounds like he wants to do the Billy Bean, like I'm not going to spend, and I'm going to prove to the MLB that I can win without spending. So they might just have to fire him.
Yeah, I don't really know why you would restrict yourself like that. That's what
It,
it sounds like. All he's doing is just restricting how good these Red Sox can really be.
yeah, and this article, like I read a few pieces, but I think they were all like Orioles, um, not fan sites, but like they could have been biased towards like this guy, just get him out of here. But I mean, their logic was pretty sound. Like this guy has the money, they have new owners that want to spend, and he won't spend it.
Yeah, I just think based on what go down and get in Bregman. Now you have Jaron Duran, Rafael Devers, Bregman, Tristan Cassis, Trevor Story, Masataka Yoshida, or whatever that guy's name is. Like that lineup's fine now. And you went out and got a Garrett Crochet. You Tanner Howe coming in strong. Brian Bello, Walker Bueller they signed on a 1-year prove it deal. Giolito and Crawford are going to fight for that fifth rotation spot. I just think that's a better team. Like the Orioles should have been in the mix to go grab a Crochet, who I just went through
Yeah.
the rotation. Zach Eflin's your opening day starter.
Or a Walker Bueller even. I'm not I guess I downplayed how because that is a good roster. The Red Sox are going to be good. I think I'm more just saying
I
like
just think you were acting like they were going to be like a 10 to 15 game under 500 team, and this Bregman signing didn't do anything. Like they have
no,
Trevor Story batting in the bottom of that lineup. What if he comes back and bats 300?
yeah, I feel like we've been saying that about Trevor Story for 5 years now though.
It's been like 1 year,
I just
maybe two.
they're probably like an 85 to 87 win team, but I just don't think the AL is that good. That's my big thing. Like there's a bunch of decent teams in there, but they're just going to cannibalize themselves, and then whoever wins the NL. I might go on record right now and say whoever wins the NL is going to win the World Series.
Really?
I just think the three teams in the NL East and the Dodgers, and you could even throw the maybe the no Padres is probably too far, but like the Padres and Diamondbacks are probably just as good as anybody else in the AL, and that's the second floor of the NL. So I think those three in the NL East, along with the Dodgers, are the four best teams in baseball, and I think it's a pretty wide gap.
Yeah, I am very confident. I know we haven't even had opening day happen yet, but I think I'm very confident saying the NL, whoever wins the NL will win the title. I mean, the Dodgers, the Mets, the Phils, great teams, and I mean, we saw the best coming out of the AL last year were the Yankees, and I mean, they just lost, in my opinion, their best player. I know Yankees fans will say it's Giancarlo or Judge or whatever, but I think Soto was their best player.
The Yankees beat Cleveland to get there. It's just I don't know, and
Well, let me
uh,
ask you this, Brian: is the team that makes the makes the World Series out of the American League from the AL East?
hmm, probably the Astros
Like
took a step back.
Astros took a big step back. I'm glad you brought that up because they lost Kyle Tucker, lost Bregman. We already know about them getting gutted of Springer. Um, they're selling all these pieces, and now it's just Yordan Alvarez. Somebody needs to take a picture of him holding a yearbook of him crying in his bed, and all his best buds are gone.
Yeah, and then
Yeah,
I don't know if the Mariners are any good. They're probably
Like the
second in
AL
division.
West, the AL West could suck unless there's a team I'm not thinking about. The Rangers, they don't scare
Oh,
me.
I guess the Rangers, yeah, with Seager coming back and DeGrom coming back if he could stay healthy. He grew out his hair again, so maybe that's some good juju for him.
Yeah, but I mean, it's got to be the AL East that makes the World Series, and it not that it's a cakewalk because it never is in baseball, but I think that AL
Kind of
East
was for the
team
Yankees last
it
year.
kind of was, but like
Yeah.
it never usually is.
But
Um,
between the Yankees and the O's, and then we see the Red Sox loading up with Bregman. Between those three teams, I think the AL East probably has the shoe-in favorite now.
Yeah, I think we
you
might be
have to.
disrespecting the Royals just a tiny bit. They'll probably win the Central.
Yeah, is that a tough division to win though?
They always
And
beat
and
up
don't
on each other.
The
don't count
Guardians.
out the Guardians. Like the Guardians very well could win
The,
that
the
division again.
Tigers are there too. So there are teams that are like middling, but like,
Like the Tigers had a Cinderella run of a team that probably shouldn't have even made the playoffs last year. That lineup is not that good.
yeah, but I mean, my whole thing, I guess this would be
And,
your
and again,
comparison, right?
another team they made it far, won a series. We're so close to the ALCS. And what did they do in free agency? They didn't spend any money.
Now they re-signed Scooble. That was their big move.
Yeah, but like that was like okay, that should have been a given.
Yeah.
They did nothing to improve that roster other than retaining a guy that was a must sign retain.
Yeah, I guess you could really just compare because I think they were the third wild card team in the AL, right? Last year?
Yeah, the Tigers like went on a heater in August and September and like snuck into the last spot. Like this was a
Yeah,
team that
I
was
can't
like
remember if they,
severely under 500.
I
Like they
can't,
should not have made the
yeah,
playoffs.
I can't remember if they passed the Royals or not because it was close. But either
No,
way,
the
like
Royals made the playoffs.
they did, but they were 2-3. I can't remember if the Tigers got the two and the Royals got the three. But
Yeah.
like they were at the bottom of that wild card, and then on the NL side, you had the Braves at the bottom, and they were missing honestly half their roster. And now they have half that roster back. I just like the NL made significant improvements on an already good league where the AL didn't.
Yeah, and just because I know you brought up the Royals, like, is this lineup gonna, Bobby Witt Jr., we know who he is. He's a great player. They signed Jonathan India as their leadoff guy. But then you have Vinny Pasquantino, Salvador Perez, a year older, MJ Melendez, Hunter Renfroe is projected their sixth spot right now. Michael Massey, Michael Garcia, Kyle Isbell. Like, that's the lineup you get with the Royals. So are we really disrespecting them? Like Bobby Wood's going to be great. India could be a good leadoff guy for them, but is Salvador Perez going to hit 40 home runs again? I don't know. I
No,
would have
but
bet on it.
him and Pascal, are good RBI guys. That's a decent top four. It's also in the AL though.
Yeah,
It's not as good of a league.
it's not, and you're relying on Cole Reagans to do what he did last year. Then Seth Lugo is projected your second
He finished
starter.
second in Cy Young voting.
He was unbelievable last year, I know, but is he going to do it again this year?
Maybe.
You
I
have
mean, I
Michael
have a soft
Waka
spot.
as your three. You have Michael Lorenzen as your four. And which, I get it. Waka and Lugo pitched really well last year for them. But these are guys we know can get shelled and get rocked at a moment's notice.
Lorenzen had a no hitter for your Phillies.
Not last year, 2 years ago.
Still had a no hitter.
It's fine, dude, but I don't know. If there's one thing that'll hold the Mets back and could blow it up, and I know you're in your like euphoric, nothing can go wrong phase, and that's fine. They have a good roster, but I think that rotation could blow up at any moment. And I know you're a big Benea guy and Kode Senga this and this, that, and the third, but that rotation could blow up. And Brian has so much confidence in the bullpen. I do not. And we
The
can
bullpen's very good. The
we can agree to
rotation I'll give
disagree. I'm
you,
not
it's
getting into
question
it.
marks, but they had question marks last year, and it worked
I
out.
know, and it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. We'll revisit this in like 2, 3 months. It's fine.
Yep, and
But
then you'll call them the worst team in baseball, and they'll make another run to hopefully the World Series.
well, let's not go that far. But Michael of the week time, Jack's favorite segment, Brian's favorite segment, my favorite segment. I'll go first here because this one was shocking, and I don't know if you guys knew about it. I don't know if it's that shocking, but I just didn't know that this guy was getting involved in this. Marshawn Lynch joins HBO's Euphoria for
Yep.
season 3. This guy does acting? I had no idea.
He
He's gonna
was
be
in
on
a
HBO. That's a popular show, dude.
he
Very,
was
yeah.
he was
Like he's
in
gonna be on the show, Marshawn Lynch.
there's this movie Bottoms that's actually it was a very good show. It's like or not a show, a movie, but it was like a high school comedy, and it's one of the best comedies I've seen in a long time. But he played a teacher in that. And he did a good job.
Really?
Yeah,
Bottoms.
Bottoms.
Well,
I'm
shocked
not
me.
gonna check that out.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
Shout out Marshawn, man, he's a man of many talents, that's for sure. He's been an entertainer since his days at Cal, riding around on that golf cart. We talked about it just on the Super Bowl pod, how Lilo and Stitch made a shout out to him in their commercial on Super Bowl night. So this man's been an entertainer forever. I love he's getting into the acting scene.
yeah, and on a big platform, HBO, big platform, Euphoria, popular show. So he's storming right into the game.
No
have
doubt.
you guys watched that show?
I have. It's wild.
It is insane.
I've seen like clips, to be honest. I haven't like actually sat down and watched it. Isn't it about like high school kids, but like
Yeah,
they
but
all like date each other, but then like each other's girlfriends or boyfriends?
yeah, it's like there's a TikTok I saw that was actually perfect for what it was. It was a guy asking for a pencil at Euphoria High School. He's like goes behind the desk. He's like, "Hey man, can I have a pencil?" No, no, I don't want a gun. And then he looks to the guy next to him. He's like, "No, I don't want cocaine. I just want a pencil." It's that. It's pretty much that.
Gotcha. I didn't
Interesting.
follow that, but it's fine.
I'll send you the TikTok.
Send me a TikTok so I can get that. Why don't you hit us with the little mic of the week, Brian?
Yeah, this was kind of a double, Michael. The first surprising moment was Illinois retired Terrence Shannon Jr.'s jersey, and he led him to the Elite Eight last year. He had a good year, but he was only there
Okay.
for 2 years. So I don't know how good of a. He also had a scandal with a
Was he?
woman, but it got proven not guilty. So I'm sure he was whatever. But 2 years and then you retire someone's jersey is kind of odd to me. But the second surprising moment was when they had the retirement ceremony at halftime. They unveiled the jersey and it was upside down.
What?
Like in the frame, like upside
Yeah, in the
down.
frame, it was upside down.
Or they just were holding it upside down?
It was upside. They had it on the pulleys. They were getting
Oh,
ready to
they
lift
had
it
it?
up, and the jersey was upside down.
I gotta watch that video if there's one out there. That's probably hilarious.
That's so embarrassing.
Yeah, it's definitely not a great look for them, but yeah, I mean, good for Terrence Shannon. I mean, is he even a 1,000 point scorer there?
No, he was there for 2 years.
That's what I mean. That's he didn't win a national championship, wasn't a 1,000 point scorer, and they retired a guy's number. All right,
He was great last year.
are they that? Do they have that little of like accomplishments that they like
They used
need to
be
go
good.
need to go throw his jersey in the rafters just to create some kind of excitement and event?
They were also I thought this was kind of funny. Maybe Michael Worthy, maybe not, but they were playing Michigan State, and Tom Izzo was going for the most wins in Big Ten history. They were up by 13, blew the lead, so Tom Izzo got his most wins. You know, great program, Michigan State, great coach at Tom Izzo. And then on the other side, you have a team that blew the lead that just retired a kid's jersey with it upside down.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. I mean, sucks for that guy.
Bad night for Illinois.
Yeah, that's that's a good Michael right there. Not really loser of the week, but questionable. Like, why are we retiring this guy's number? And then you can't even do it right.
Yep, it's a double, Michael.
It's a double.
Yeah,
But
that's terrible.
Jack, what do you got to wrap us up here on it after a long celebration weekend for me at least? And I guess you guys kind of sort of with Auburn.
Yeah, it was a good weekend for Auburn fans. But no, I'm going to talk about two other programs in the college space, Michigan and Ohio State. Now, we know how much these two schools hate each other, but they played each
Yep.
other in basketball. Michigan just happened to win yet again against Ohio State. Ohio State can't buy a bucket against them. And when I was looking into this game before it, after it, doing the bets and all that good stuff, I stumbled upon a website called How Many Days Since OSU has beaten Michigan.com. And it is, hopefully Will can put up like a picture of it here, but it is just a straight up website with big letters that says how many days since Ohio State has beaten Michigan. 1,905 days. And it has the past 4 scores on here where Michigan's beaten Ohio State. Like, somebody has to actually pay for this and keep this website like alive and well and secure. And if somebody, a Michigan fan clearly, is doing that. I love the rivalries in sports. I love this rivalry specifically. Like, Ohio State just won the national championship, but the fact that they haven't beaten Michigan in 1,905 days now, clearly a big thorn in their side. I love sports.
They got a picture of Ryan Day on here. Marshmallows stay soft even when toasted.
Are you on the website now?
Yeah.
Great.
Wait, you said a number out there. 1,900 days since Ohio State beat Michigan
in college football.
In football,
yeah.
So just football. It's been that long. Is that like 4 or 5 years?
4 seasons, yeah, at least.
It's like 6 years. 6 full years.
Well, I guess COVID kind of fouled something up there.
Yeah, so maybe 5 seasons.
I don't know.
That's
Either
right.
way, that's like they gotta fix that, bro. You can't be doing that.
Wait, wasn't the Embiid stat that he was out for like 9? He's missed like.
No,
never mind.
He's been paid so much money and has. This is like career games. He's like only played in like 47% of the career games, or he sat out 47% of the games.
So I was actually referencing the how he was ducking, how many days he was ducking playing in Denver. I think it was around 1,900 as well. But either way, man, it's just like, it's crazy. Like, Ohio State, congrats on your national championship. Michigan's not going to let you hear the end of it. And as Brian was trying to tell us the other day, apparently that matters more than winning a national championship.
Clearly to this guy.
It clearly is, but that's unbelievable, dude. That's like, yeah.
Next
unbelievable.
Yeah, so he was hired in 2018, and he won in his first year, 2019. And he's lost every game since.
Who, Embiid?
No, Ryan Day.
Ryan Day.
Wow.
Yeah, that's bad. That's bad stuff there. But yeah, that one definitely shocked me. I didn't realize it's been that long. But I mean, good for Michigan. Ohio State still takes the L.
I think Michigan gets the upper hand.
Yeah, I think they do because they won it all last year. But I don't know.
And they clearly have the better college basketball team
and the better coder.
Yeah, they definitely do. But I don't know if you guys have anything else. My eyes are starting to hurt, and I think I need to go to bed.
It's been a 2-hour show.
Yeah, it's been a while.
It's definitely a long show.
Has it been 2 hours?
Not
Holy
quite,
shit.
but we probably started at like 6:20, and it's 8 o'clock.
It's been a long show.
Yeah, I was wondering why am I so tired? Anyway, I'm Matt, Jack, and Brian. As always, I'll see you guys in the Wednesday one. We'll bring a little bit more energy. Peace.
War Eagle, baby.
War Eagle. I love Denver Jones.